Thanksgiving's come and gone. Hopefully, everybody had a chance to gather together. Friends, family, have some turkey, have some ham, maybe some famous turducken, spend time together, have some laughs. But it's Saturday morning, which means it's time for cruise comments. Good Saturday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to this week's episode of What Every Cruiser Wants. And we are back, and we have new cruise comments for you this week. And today we're going to reach into the bag of crazy, and we're going to see what we pull out. We're going to see what cruisers demand, what cruisers are asking for. And I'm letting you guys know right now, boy, they came up with some doozies for us this week. So let's jump in. Let's find out. Are these people right? Are these people wrong? Do you agree or do you disagree? First up today, let's talk about going places you're not supposed to go on a cruise ship. There's going to be signs. There's going to be signs that say crew only. Do not enter. Something to let you know you don't belong there. And if you get caught there and crew member tells you get out, security has to come and escort you out, you really shouldn't be all that upset and say, well, I don't like the way they talked to me. I don't like the way they treated me. I mean, nobody told me I couldn't do whatever I wanted to do on a cruise ship. My fiance and me were on the Valor. We are big Titanic movie buffs. We wanted to do the Jack and Rose pose. We tried to go down to the front to do it. We were shouted at by a crew person. Then a security man made us leave and had spoke to us both like we were kids. We didn't deserve that. There were no signs saying that we could not. How many others have wanted to do this and be treated this way? Nobody told us. Just for pure fairness, is it possible that the crew only sign was maybe not up? Of course it is. Is it possible they managed to get all the way near the bow of the ship and not notice whatsoever that, this isn't a passenger area. This doesn't look like someplace I should be. Of course that's possible. But let's be honest here. They're pretty religious about putting up those crew only signs, making sure the doors are closed, making sure that, passengers know you don't belong here. It's kind of a big deal, and it's something they usually always take care of. So do I 100% believe that nobody told them? They had no clue, saw no signs that say they couldn't go to the bow of the ship and do this? Don't necessarily know that I believe all of that. I tend to think it went a little more like, well, we want to do this, we're going to do this, and nothing, no signs are just not going to apply to us. We got caught, we got told to leave, and now we're going to say, well, they were mean and they were rude and they talked to us like we were children, which I don't know about y'all. That seems to be what they always say when they get caught. Now, is everything always going to be perfect when you're eating dinner? Because it could be in the main dining room, it could be in the buffet, could be in a specialty restaurant. There's always the chance that something could happen. Let's say, for example, there's a hair in your food. It's not a common problem, but it, of course, could happen because, well, the people making your food, serving your food, well, they have hair. And while crew members are very, very careful to make sure this doesn't happen, there is always the possibility. But as adults, you get your food and there's a hair in your food. What would you do? What would be your reaction to that? Would it be simply to say, excuse me, there's a hair in this. May I get another one? Obviously this is not going to work. Can you please bring me another one? They apologize. You get new food. You go about your day. Is that not how most adults would react? Or would you do this? Can you make sure John gets this message? I need to set up a meeting with him in private. My room number is blank. I have photographs of my dinner from our Alaska cruise on the Luminosa 6-3. There was a long dark hair in my food. I don't want to cause a problem for my waiter, a problem that may cost his job. Old people reading this will probably be saying, why did I not say something? This explains why. I have platinum status and seniority. So my expectations are that you will provide some kind of apology and provide proper compensation. As I said, I have photos. So this individual found a hair in their food on a previous cruise, took pictures of it, and apparently did not say anything to them in the dining area, did not tell them at the time that this was a thing so they could get their food redone, remade, new one brought out. And the reason is because they didn't want to cost the server their job, which, well, the server probably didn't put the hair in the food. So why would it cost the server their job? Why would you not let them know so they could A, apologize, that's something you asked for, B, bring you another plate of food? That's the adult thing to do, but that's not what this person does. They want a private meeting. And why? Why did they not explain it to the server? Why did they not get their apology, get new food? Why do they want a private meeting? Well, they're going to explain why. See, because they are platinum and they have seniority. And because of this, they have expectations. Expectations that somebody absolutely not involved in the situation will provide them an apology and, of course, compensation. Where's my compensation? I'm platinum and I have seniority. Now we're going to talk about discrimination, because more often than not, especially when it comes to cruising, people like to throw around that word discrimination, but they use it wrong, and they use it in cases that are definitely not discrimination. I don't know why people can't understand. Just because you don't get your way, because they don't do it the way you want to do it or cater to your specific want and desire, that they are suddenly discriminating against you. You can't just go, well, I didn't get my way. It must be discrimination. Because that's not what discrimination is. Stop using a word incorrectly. And we can tell people that, but that's never going to stop them. We'll be on our cruise during our youngest son's birthday. I'm allergic to latex, so regular balloons are not an option. But if we bring some Mylar balloons, I need assurances that there will be helium while on board. Why does Carnival not provide a non-latex option for cabin decorations? Discrimination for people with latex allergies and who Carnival has discriminated against and stopped us celebrating a child's birthday. So, first and foremost, there's no helium on board the ship. Doesn't matter what kind of balloon it is, there is no helium on board those ships, and they're not going to have it on there for you. That's not something they carry on board. So it really doesn't matter what kind of balloon you have. But the fact that Carnival provides basic latex balloons and not Mylar balloons for some packages you can purchase for birthday celebrations does not mean that they are discriminating against you because they don't carry the type of balloon you want. Especially when, if that's something specific you need for you, for your allergy, you pack it yourself and bring it on board the ship. Still not going to get helium though, because it's not on the ship. So there will be no assurance for helium. But just because a cruise ship doesn't carry something specific, that's not discrimination. That's like going into a grocery store and go, you don't carry my favorite brand, you must be discriminating against me. If you're going to use the word discrimination, good God, learn the definition and how to use it before you do it. Now, before I get into this last comment, I got to prepare. There we go. I got to put on my tinfoil hat before I read this particular last comment, because this is just the type of person that I think wrote this in. Because, look, when you board a cruise ship, you know you have to provide them identification. Whether it's a government-issued ID, has your picture on it, whether it's a passport which has your picture on it. Both of these you had to go to a government office to get, so they're well aware of who you are. You've gone through customs to get on or off the cruise ship. They're aware of you and who you are and all of your information. You know, you provided it to the cruise line when you boarded the ship. So with all that, is facial recognition really Big Brother looking over your shoulder, or, has Big Brother been with you the whole time? I read about the back-to-back having facial recognition on board. I am on the conquest. Do I have the right to not use the facial recognition? It's a Fourth Amendment right not to. This is a breach of the U.S. data laws and protection. Why does Carnival need this? I would like your answer, Heel, before I decide what to do next. All right, facial recognition on back-to-backs. All right, I think we're done with the foil here. What Carnival Cruise Line here is doing is, if you had a back-to-back cruise on the same ship, you had to disembark the ship, basically go back through customs, get right back on the ship. It was a fairly quick process, but you had to exit the ship. What they're trying to do now, and they're testing and working on now, is they're bringing facial recognition on board. Those that are doing back-to-back essentially walk up, scan their face like you do when you disembark, go right about their business. They don't have to get off the cruise ship. That's what this is all about. And yes, if you absolutely do not want to do facial recognition for whatever reason, you can ask for I guess it would be a manual inspection where they physically check your documentation. You can ask for that. You don't have to do facial recognition. But let's not act like Big Brother doesn't already have all of that. They get information on you every single day. If you're wearing a smartwatch, you have a smartphone, a smart TV. Believe me, somebody is always watching. Now, we'll get down to the fun stuff here, because the Fourth Amendment, yeah, that doesn't apply here. Fourth Amendment is the illegal search and seizure. And while they are working on data privacy underneath the Fourth Amendment, facial recognition has already been determined. Fourth Amendment doesn't apply. Now, me personally, I love the facial recognition system. I absolutely love it. I walk off the ship, I get in the passport line, I walk up, boop, turns green, and I go about my business. That has sped up the disembarkation and getting through customs so much. I absolutely love it. It'd be really great if they could do that for embarkation too. I walk up, boop, I'm good, and I walk on the ship. That'd be even better. On and off. But I get it's not for everybody. But again, let's not pretend that you didn't provide them every piece of information before you ever got on the ship. Let's not pretend that skipping the face scanner is keeping anything from Big Brother. All right? And that is going to be our video this week for what every cruiser wants. You guys let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are these people right? Are these people wrong? Are they speaking for you? And they know how you want to cruise? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.